So Lora Cheadle is here with us. She's really an expert in how, if your relationship, there's a betrayal that enters it, how you can recover, how you can heal, and when you can decide to maybe stay in the relationship or when you have to move on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so look, this is, it's a very hard thing for a lot of people. You
it
fall
is.
in love, your heart's invested, and then you find out that, wait a second, this is not a safe space. Somebody betrayed that trust. Where do you begin to say, what do I do when that happens? Do I leave? Do I stay? Because there's a lot of heightened emotions right then.
There's a lot. And here's the thing that people don't necessarily realize when they first think about betrayal. Betrayal is defined as the breaking of an expectation that you have relied on that ruptures your view of yourself or the world. That means it shatters the way you thought things should be. So really the first place to start recovering is by recovering your own identity. Who am I? How do I get back to being myself? Because until we know who we are, how do we know if a relationship's going to work or not?
I think of that, is it the show with Julia Roberts, where she gets married multiple times, never actually goes through with it.
Yes.
And they said, you need to kind of stop and figure out who you are first before you enter the relationship. And one of them is she didn't even know how she liked her eggs.
Exactly.
Because she liked her eggs how her partner liked her eggs. And it took her a while to figure out, what is it that I like and I want to do? But why is it we get so caught up in trying to please our partner that we lose sight of ourselves?
That's a great question. Yes, we try to please our partners, but we're also trying to be the perfect woman, the perfect wife, the perfect mom. We've got careers. We might or might have kids. We've got parents we're taking care of. There are so many different roles that we play, and we all want to do a good job. Nobody really leads into life thinking, I'm just going to schlep my way through. So we're trying to please everybody. And when we're pleasing everybody else, we just get so busy we lose track of who we are.
And you end up sacrificing a lot too.
Oh,
right?
you
and
sure do.
compromising a lot. So then when that betrayal comes in, it can really hit you like a ton of bricks.
Right.
And kind of put your world upside down a little bit. A lot of people think instantly, you must leave the relationship. It's broken. Is it always broken? And obviously it's broken at that moment if it's been betrayed, but is it to the point where it can't be repaired that you must leave, or how can you move forward to try and stay?
Right. You get to decide. You get to choose if that's a boundary. It's not an automatic death sentence for a relationship. If two people are willing to move forward, to grow, to change, to have the conversations that they didn't have before, to get real, then yes, the relationship can grow and change. And by the same token, if you don't want to do that, you absolutely do not have to do that.
I want to touch on both of these because I've heard some people say sometimes the hardest decision actually is staying versus leaving. Too often we think that the hard decision is I'm going to leave this relationship, but it's choosing to stay. If you choose to stay and you want to go through repair and you want to say, you know what, you stepped outside of our relationship and betrayed the trust that we have, but I want to give this a second chance. What has to happen on both parties in order for that to be healthy?
There needs to be accountability and there needs to be repair. Both partners need to be able to communicate with the other person what I need from myself and what I need from you. And it is harder to stay because the other person oftentimes triggers you. So not only are you managing your own triggers, you're managing your partner's triggers as well. And that's hard to do.
What about then when it's time to say, you know what, we've tried this, and maybe we've tried to repair, I just can't do it. Because there's too many triggers, there's too much hurt. When does that point come from somebody saying this is irreparable and it's time to go?
I think it comes at a variety of different places. First of all, if your partner is dropping the ball, if they are not showing up, if they're not doing the work, if you're asking them to show up differently and they're not doing it, there is no point in you staying and continuing to bang your head.
Now, when you're asking them to show up differently, how hard is that for somebody then on the other side to say, you know what, I messed up and I was wrong, but to change a behavior? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Or is it change, or what is it that they have to change?
They have to change their level of awareness. What am I feeling? What am I hiding? What am I not communicating? How am I letting my defensiveness harm this relationship instead of softening and asking for help, getting over all of those stereotypical beliefs about what it means to be a man or a woman?
And that's challenging too, because that means somebody's got to, like sometimes people also want to remind, like, you messed up, you messed up, you messed up.
Yes.
So they kind of have to keep humbling and eating crow a little bit. At what point do you back off and say, you know what, like, you can't keep bringing up the past and throwing mud into this, because you can't heal if you can't let it go.
Right. And that's so hard. There are so many times early on, not anymore, but early on, where I would want to bring that up. I would think, aha, this is how I'm going to win this fight. I'm going to bring it up. That's not fair. That's not being an adult. That's not being accountable. That is my wounded little girl showing up. So yes, we each have to grow up, be the bigger person in the relationship. But if your partner is not growing up, if they are not being the bigger person in the relationship, you have to ask yourself, what am I willing to tolerate? And am I willing to tolerate this any longer? And if the answer is no, that's the perfect time to say, I'm sorry, I'm walking away.
Love changes, right?
Yeah.
The way we love somebody. Because when
yes.
you first meet somebody, like, you fall in love, there's all these butterflies and, everything kind of comes in. But then as you go through a relationship, what happens when we fall out of love and we get to love? And then once we get to a betrayal and you want to get back in, even then that's a different kind of love.
It is. I think it's so easy to fall into autopilot. We have our jobs, we have what we do at home, we have the house, we have all of these life things, and we just fall into autopilot. And it's not necessarily always taking the other person for granted, but that's a big piece of it. We just do life and we don't stop. We think, I know this person, I know what they like, I know what they dislike. Well, do you really? Because we're changing all the time. So it's presence. It's that deep alignment and presence with yourself and with your partner, and to be able to be vulnerable and to be curious and just say, we've always had pizza on Thursday nights. Does that still sound fun to you, or should we do something different?
Well, I think that's important too. And what you're leading to there is communication of saying, what is it you want and what is it you need from me?
Yes.
And I think a lot of times that's where the problem is we just maybe, we go by what we want and not what our partner wants. And then therefore our partner ends up feeling like they're missing something, they're lacking something. And that's a lot of times where they step out to try to grab that.
Yes. And as we age, we get confronted with all of these different beliefs. I didn't think my life was going to be like this. I didn't think it was going to be this hard. And then we have those fears come up inside of us. Am I doing it right? Am I good enough? Did I make a mistake? And instead of communicating all of those deeper fears with our partners, oftentimes we tend to attack, we tend to blame, we tend to shame, and that's corrosive for the relationship.
I don't ever want to say that the person that gets cheated on, that it's their fault.
No.
But at the same time, is there something the person that's cheated on could do a self-reflection and saying, where did I not bring what was needed to this relationship that might have led my partner to step out, that self-awareness kind of thing.
And I love how you frame that, because no, it is never our fault for getting cheated on. It is never our fault. However, where are we not seeing some of the things that are right in front of us? Where are we not getting curious, spending the time? Where are we just being like, yeah, well, that's their problem, and we're moving on? Because we're so busy, not because we're being mean, not because we're being a bad partner, but where are we just not being aware?
Where do you start that conversation of, if you're in a relationship and you're unsatisfied, how do you, and you're like you said, it's pizza every Thursday. Well,
Right.
Guess what? Now I want to get up and I want to go outside. I want to have sushi.
Yes.
Where do you start to kind of have that conversation with your partner to be like, you know what? I'm not as being fulfilled. I'm not getting what I need here, because that's probably a communication in a different way than you've been mostly communicating in your relationship.
Yes.
So you have to change your approach, I'd imagine. How?
Yes.
But that's not easy to do.
It's not easy, but I'll give you a simple tip.
Okay.
If you can just use some I statements. I statements are forms of communication where we center ourselves. I think, I believe, I want. When you speak in terms of an I statement, you have to get clear. You can't say, well, I just don't want this. Well, this doesn't work for me anymore. What does? Get clear. This is what I want. I want to go out. I want to feel like we're dating again. I want to do something new. Get clear about what it is that you want, and then just start communicating with your partner.
How much of this goes into the love languages? I mean, I feel like everybody's pretty much aware of that right now. And more than likely, you're attracted to somebody that's not going to have the exact same love language as yourself.
Right.
You know, I mean, at one point I was dating somebody and theirs was acts of service, but that wasn't mine. But I learned that, you know what, if I could vacuum the house and give like those nice little lines in the carpet, when they came home, it actually went a really long ways, and it took me like really no sacrifice at all.
So many people read relationship books, whether it's like that love languages or attachment style or everything, because they want their partner to know something about them. It's such a flip to realize, no, 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 this is about me learning about you. And sometimes that gets lost. We just want to, we're so desperate to be heard. We're so desperate to be seen. We do all this work and then say, why aren't people seeing me? Well, why aren't you seeing them? Because relationships are so often a mirror.
How often do you find a relationship that's been in betrayal that can heal and recover?
Most of the people that I work with do end up recovering. It's a long journey. Some don't, but most of them do.
And what's the reward for that for you on the other side?
Oh, there's so much goodness on the other side. It's a level of self-confidence and self-trust that you've never had before. It's a transparency in the relationship. It's a higher level of respect. I know this person. They know me. They know me in my worst moment, and we have gotten through this. It's a different, deeper level of love and respect.
And I think the biggest thing we all want and need in life is love, right? We all crave it. We were built for it. It's at the core of who we are. So when it's broken, it can be devastating. But I love that you offer solutions that you can heal after that betrayal. Thank you so much for coming in here and joining us on Fox 5 Weekend Live.
Thank you for having me. It was wonderful.
We'll be right back after this.